Trainers and coaches, this is your episode. I wanted to talk to you guys about a topic that in our field of coaching, especially if you're a pure-hearted coach, is a dirty word. And that word is networking. And it's something that we should reconsider why we think it's a dirty word. Because for the most part, such pure-hearted, good-hearted coaches who want only for their players to succeed, even if it's at the detriment of you, are not willing to do these things because this could potentially maybe skyrocket your business into a different stratosphere. Or when we think of the word networking, we feel like it's one person taking advantage of another person, when we know in the bottom of our hearts that that's not true, right? And you know, we want to be like, oh, we do this for the love of the game. And I would challenge you in a myriad of different ways to think about it a little bit differently. And so we're going to be talking about networking and why it's so important. It is just as important as any baseline out of bounds play that you can draw, any cool tactical periodization scheme that you can come up with, any cool strength and conditioning template you can come up with. Because do you know why you deserve it? Because this is what's truly going to help your career, right? Whether you're in the university sector or the private sector, this is what's going to get you and your family the life that you deserve. Not that the other stuff doesn't matter, but this is just as important. We're going to dive into it. My name is Coach William Lowe, and I'm the founder of Strive Basketball and Performance and the Strive Goal Team. And I really hope that these videos bring you a lot of value. And they do. Consider hitting the like button. And if you want to see me every single week on your screen, then subscribe to the channel. But let's get into it. I've narrowed this down into 4 ways of becoming a good networker, but it's no different than becoming a better person, in my opinion, okay? In order to maximize the value that you get at Strive, make sure you go and check out our online community at school.com. It's a group of like-minded coaches and players supporting each other to reach their goals. The first one is be so good that they can't ignore you. And that means being the best possible coach or trainer that you can be. Be so good in your area that if I were to think about the word basketball training, I'd be like, oh, Nate, that's who I should send you to. Or, oh, Brian, that's who I should send you to. Or, oh, Will, that's exactly the person who you need to see. And think about specializing in a certain thing. Where, again, when people think about that certain aspect, whether it's shooting, whether it's tactics or whatever, they think of you first. Once you've gotten very, very good at that particular thing, then you have the right to be curious. You see certain things, certain patterns. Wow, the kids that I work with are super slow. What do I need to do to get these kids faster? Oh, let me go talk to Will. He knows how to get players fast. I know that when Will works with a certain person, he gets them fast. You go and find Will, and you and Will have a cup of coffee, and Will just spills the beans on how he does it because he has an abundance mentality, and all of a sudden, oh, let me start throwing these things into my drills. Before you know it, you're stacking things, right? So you're able to combine different aspects of basketball with what you're doing. And now truly, you've become unique. You've now become unique. And I'm going to give you a little story about myself. When I played in college, I was a player in college, but at the same time, I interned at the strength and conditioning department. So I was able to get all this practical knowledge from my mentor in the strength and conditioning department while playing basketball. So right off the bat, I had a very unique perspective of different things. I was stacking without even really knowing it. And right off the bat, I was able to look at sports in a very different way. Because of my sports performance background, I looked at everything as an evidence scientific-based thing at training, where a lot of my counterparts in the basketball field would look at things purely because if you ask them why they did it, oh, well, because the person on YouTube said I should do it, or the person who taught me said I should do it, so I'm just doing the same thing. Where in the strength and conditioning department, everything's so scientific based, you would question everything. And so that's where I kind of found my specialty. And then I slowly found myself going into different sports and taking the very same approach into training very high-level professional basketball players or even Olympic gold medalists. So going back to the point, be so good that they cannot ignore you and be top of mind at what you do. The second part of being a good networker is to be well-informed. Be well-informed about what is going on in your industry. Whether it's college basketball, whether it's the private sector, whether it's the latest training stuff, it's very, very important to be well-informed. And even if you're very well-informed, it's a dangerous thing to spill everything that you know because people think that you are, number one, insecure and trying to show how smart you are. But number two, it just becomes annoying after a while. I will challenge you to approach it a little bit differently. A truly smart and humble person knows how to ask the right question. And by asking the right question, you are demonstrating an intelligence to the other person, because in order for you to ask that particular question, you need to have a certain amount of knowledge. So rather than just spilling all your knowledge, asking the right question and stimulating the mind of the other person demonstrates intelligence, but you're also allowing the other person to talk more than you, which is getting the other person to, whether they know it or not, like you a little bit more because they're talking about themselves. So being very informed in your field and being aware of what is going on is a very, very good way to become a better networker. So the third point is putting yourself in the right place. So if you're a coach or you're a trainer, you should know what conferences are coming up. Investing in conferences where there's going to be other coaches and other trainers is very, very important for your career in order for you to make friends, to have colleagues for life in order to bounce ideas off. This is paramount. So money invested in that is well worth it. Conferences for the collegiate ranks, there's usually a lot of conferences for that. And for trainers, there's more and more conferences available worldwide that you can attend. It's something that you must do in order to advance your career. Social media is one of the best ways to be prepared for these conferences. Having a list of people already on your social media, whether it's Instagram or X, messaging these people before you go to the conference to see if they want to grab a coffee during those times is very important, because more than likely they will know a bunch of people. And you can take your network and their network and combine, and before you know it, you know a lot of people there, and the entire event doesn't become so awkward, doesn't become so weird, but it becomes much more familiar and you become much more comfortable. Being in these situations allows you to demonstrate what you know and demonstrate your value so that you can make more friends, add value to other people, which more than likely will help you further your career or business. If you're in the private sector, it might be a little bit different. Going to schools and offering to do workshops for them for free is a great way for you to show your value. Being able to show how well you work with athletes of different ages is very, very important. But more important than anything is the passion that you show. You can't fake passion. People can feel it, and they know right off the bat why you're in this industry. And if you're in the sporting industry for the right reasons, people just want to be with you and want to be able to work with you. Having a sharing and abundance mentality is always one of the best ways to make friends. So if I'm sitting down with you as another trainer and I'm giving you a lot of the things that I'm already doing and sharing my experiences and sharing my methodologies with you without trying to hide anything, well, you're more than likely going to put your guard down and want to be my friend and share with me as well. That's the mentality that we have when going into different events and going into different situations and meetups with people, because we want to add value to people. And it truly takes a very, very weird type of person to have their guard up if you're being so generous and offering to further their career. Having this mentality just feels really good, as well as being able to help the other person. More than likely, they're going to come back to you with an abundance mentality, and they're going to try and help you further your career as well. So in closing, I want you guys to understand that networking is a necessity. It's not a dirty word if you approach it the correct way. It's the process of two people building a bond and building a connection, and hopefully both of them come out benefiting from that relationship, which is how a normal friendship should be. If you are still hesitant on this, there are 3 key points that I want you to think about that hopefully resonate with you and make you feel even more uncomfortable, so you go out there, expose yourself to different situations, and allow people to know how great you are. So the first point is, if you don't get the job or you're not getting the business, that business or job is probably going to someone who is far less qualified than you, who's focusing more on their sales pitch and their marketing and presenting themselves well. And the clients or the players that you could have been training is in the hands of someone who is far less qualified than you when it comes to the actual training. This should bother you. Number two, if you're not focusing on networking, then you will probably never make a full-time job out of becoming a coach. If you're not a full-time coach, then your time and attention have to be spent elsewhere, whether it's another job, just to be able to support you being a coach. But if you made this your full-time job and you were able to make it financially feasible for you to be a full-time coach, then you would be the best possible coach that you can be. Networking is what's gonna get you there. Last but not least, the most basic reason is because you and your family deserve it. You love this field so much that you would do anything to watch your players succeed, even if it's at the detriment to yourself. But you deserve to live a good life. Your kids and your significant other deserve to live a good life. There's nothing wrong with having a good living doing what you love the most, because you will be the best version of yourself and make a positive impact on your family when they see you go to work every single day smiling and doing what you love most. Thank you for watching until the end of this. I hope that this really makes an impact on a lot of you trainers and coaches and understand the significance of networking and what it takes to take your job and your career or your business to the next level. Hopefully I've added value to you in this video, and if I have, make sure you leave us a like. If you want to get videos like this every single week, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next week.